Welcome back to JBitsy TV. My name is Salaindra, and here are 6 lessons God teaches you through a breakup. Keep watching. There's never a relationship that ends without a lesson. Whether it was 10 years long or only 3 months, there's a lesson in it. Most people don't take the time to figure out what they learned from the relationship because they're too blinded by anger and resentment. And half the time they end up dating someone that was just like their ex because they didn't learn from the situation. God uses the people in your life to reveal himself to you in ways you would have otherwise missed him. An intimate relationship is one of the closest human relationships you can have aside from having a child. So God will most definitely use that person to teach you a lesson, especially if they weren't really supposed to be in your life in the first place. All right, so the first lesson God will teach you through a breakup is human love is imperfect and conditional. People will always let you down. We can say all day that we love someone unconditionally and we want to be with them forever and there is nothing that can tear us apart. But as soon as that person starts lying or cheating or acting different or start to neglect the relationship, you might still love them, but that love becomes real conditional. But when you look at the relationship you have with God, you have lied to God, you have cheated on God, you have chosen other people and other things before you've chosen him. You have definitely neglected your relationship with God. But no matter what, every single time he takes you back with wide open arms. If our love as human beings were as unconditional and perfect as God's love, then we'd probably still be in our very first relationship. He has shown you that no matter how much you love someone or no matter how much they love you, there is no love that tops his. Numbers 29 verse 19 says, God is not man that he should lie, or a son of man that he should change his mind. Has he said, and will he not do it? People lie, people change their mind, people say they're going to do something and then they don't do it. But God is one thing that you can be certain about. Number 2, God wanted to show you that it is never okay to go against him in the name of love. Proverbs 29 verse 25 says, the fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be saved. Y'all know what a snare is, right? It's a bird trap. God said you are trapped like a bird, like an animal in a noose struggling to get out. You were struggling in that relationship emotionally and possibly physically and mentally because you were bound by trying to please them instead of God. And in a godly relationship, pleasing God is not an issue, it's a goal. If you have done things in your relationship that you never felt comfortable with, or you allowed someone to convince you to do something against your morals and against your values, and then in the end you ended up single anyway, that was a lesson from God. Yes, relationships require some give and take, some sacrifice, some compromise. But when it comes to things that God has put on your heart, and someone is pushing you away from those things and causing you to sin and causing you to give into them instead of him, there's a problem there. Number 3, you cannot stay unequally yoked forever. 2 Corinthians 6:14 says, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? God wanted to show you, you will not be able to make it work with someone that is not on the same spiritual level with you and not even trying to get on the same spiritual level as you. It will start to feel like you're being split in two. You have this pull from God and then you have this pull from your relationship, and sooner or later one of them are going to win. You can't live 2 separate lives. So either your relationship is going to pull you away from God or God is going to pull you out of that relationship. Number 4, love is not meant to be blind. And I don't mean in a physical sense. I mean emotionally and mentally. It's not meant for you to just turn a blind eye on everything because you're in love. We aren't supposed to overlook the heavy things in our relationships, because the more you overlook the things God is trying to show you about someone, the longer you will end up in a relationship that is not right for you. God wants you to keep your eyes open. There is many things that you can work through but nothing should be overlooked. God created relationships. He created man and woman to be one together. You can't be one flesh if you are pretending not to see certain things. That can end up causing friction in the relationship later on. It's like you just pretending not to see food on your face because you're scared you won't be able to taste again. Overlooking things is not going to save you from being lonely. The more you overlook it, the more you'll feel lonely in that relationship because you can't speak about your problems with this person. God shows you things about people for a reason. So if you're turning a blind eye to it, you may not ever know what that reason was. Maybe you were supposed to leave. Maybe y'all was supposed to fix it. But you have to do something. But God will not reveal it to you just so you can turn away as if you didn't see it. Number 5, if someone does not want to leave their old life to start a new one with you, they are not ready for a relationship. Ephesians 5 verse 31 says, "Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh." Now I also want you to think of this verse in another way. A man shall leave that street life, that player life, whatever lifestyle that will hinder having a good relationship with you and will stop the growth of your relationship should be left. A relationship is for two people to come together and create a life. This means there's a lot of things that people have to let go of. God did not say a man shall pick up his entire life and merge it with his wife's entire life. God said leave and go. When you get into a relationship, absolutely a lot of their problems become your problems and vice versa. So I'm not saying it doesn't, but I want you to think of it more so as if someone isn't trying to grow past their past, if they're trying to stay in their past and bring all their past with y'all instead of building an empire with you, that's just God trying to say that they are not ready for a relationship. And it is not your responsibility to deal with all of that baggage either. Last but not least, number 6, I'm sure y'all know this one very well. Everything that glitters ain't gold. Matter of fact, the glitter was probably from the 99 cents though, and it looked good. It looked kind of expensive. It was well put together. It was wrapped in a bow. Looked like it was heaven sent just for you, huh? So you spend years trying to find out why it doesn't feel like gold. Why isn't it glistening like gold? What's up with this glitter, man? Then after you've put in so much wasted time, then and only then the flakes start to fall off. That shine starts to dwindle down. And now you're stuck in something you most definitely could have avoided if you checked that brand before you bought it. Matthew 7 verse 15 says, "Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves." We're attracted to caring and sweet people, and we love to feel loved by them. We're attracted to that glitter I was just talking about, but we fail to check the brand, and we don't test the spirit until it's too late. 1 John chapter 4 verse 1 says, "Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. For many false prophets have gone out into the world." We end up dating wolves because we jump at the thought of this being the perfect person for us instead of taking the time to really make sure. So God was just teaching you that not every good person is good for you. I hope that God was able to reach you through these 6 lessons, and I hope that you are more than ever ready to start a better relationship with somebody who is really meant for you. Thanks so much for tuning into my channel, and remember, Jesus blessed you. Never let them stress you.